Silence. That's what's been haunting Nicki Minaj's fans for weeks. A woman who built her career on voice. Sharp, fearless, unfiltered, suddenly choosing silence. No cryptic tweets, no Instagram collabs, no late-night rants to set the record straight. And in the world of Nicki Minaj, silence is not normal. Silence is dangerous. Behind the gated mansions of Los Angeles, whispers began to surface. A police call, clothes scattered on the street, neighbors reporting a domestic disturbance too loud to ignore. And then the image nobody could shake, Nicki Minaj allegedly tossing her husband's belongings out of a window while he walked away alone into the night. What pushed her to that breaking point? And why now? For years, Nicki defended Kenneth Petty against the world. She stood by him through legal battles, through public backlash, through every headline that begged her to leave. She was relentless in her loyalty. But if the rumors are true, if what happened that night in the hills is what witnesses say it was, then Nicki Minaj may have finally reached her limit. And yet, she remains quiet. For someone who thrives on controlling her own narrative, her refusal to speak has become the loudest alarm bell of all. This is the same woman who once fired off a single tweet. Yes, single. Only to delete it within minutes, sparking weeks of speculation that her marriage was already in ruins. Was that just a moment of frustration, or a glimpse of the truth she's been hiding? Her fans remember the Vogue interview in 2023, when Nicki admitted that her marriage was strained after the birth of her son. She confessed to late-night fights, to the crushing weight of new parenthood, to the fear that maybe love wasn't enough to hold everything together. And now, with new allegations swirling of betrayal, cheating, and disrespect, fans are asking the question Nicki won't answer. How much more can she take? But here's where the story gets darker. Because while Nicki's silence leaves her fans guessing, her husband's past leaves little room for doubt. The baggage she carries into their marriage has always been heavy. Legal issues, court restrictions, the constant cloud of controversy, all of it clashing with Nicki's carefully built empire. And if the latest claims are true, that he's been stepping out, entertaining strippers, and tearing apart their family's stability, then her silence may not be strategy at all. It may be survival. And just when fans thought the drama couldn't get heavier, Hollywood shifted its gaze from Nicki's silence to another storm brewing in the streets of Los Angeles. A moment that would drag Cardi B into the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. It started as a routine day in court. Cardi B walking out of the building during a lunch break, surrounded by cameras, reporters, and the chaos that always follows her. But within seconds, everything spiraled into one of the most explosive confrontations we've seen from her in years. A reporter, one who had been circling her trial like a hawk, decided to take a shot. He called out to Cardi, first with flattery, then with a dagger. Offset is bragging about getting you pregnant for the 4th time. Do you foresee any paternity issues? The question was sharp, cruel, and calculated. And the moment the words left his mouth, everything changed. Cardi stopped in her tracks. The same woman who has endured whispers about her marriage, rumors about her family, and relentless criticism about her past, snapped. Her voice cut through the noise, laced with anger, warning him not to disrespect her.
Don't do that. Do you see women asking those type of questions to me? Do you see women asking those questions to me? Why do you feel as a man you got to ask me those type of questions? Act like you have some manners. And your mama taught you, respect women.
And then came the motion that sent shockwaves across social media. Cardi hurled her pen in his direction. The footage spread within minutes. Replayed, slowed down, dissected frame by frame. Did it actually hit him? Or did it ricochet off the pavement before it could touch anyone? Depending on which angle you saw, the answer seemed to shift. But what mattered wasn't the pen itself. It was the moment. Cardi B, already standing trial for allegations of assault, had just given her critics new ammunition. The reporter, who introduced himself as Dinat, wasted no time flipping the narrative. He claimed fear for his safety. He claimed he was being doxxed, harassed, and threatened by Cardi's fans. In his version of events, he was not the instigator. He was the victim. And suddenly, the story wasn't about a disrespectful question outside a courthouse. It was about whether one of the most powerful women in music had crossed a line that could come back to haunt her in ways she never expected. What he said next shocked even seasoned journalists. In a video statement, Dinat accused Cardi of being violent, of using her influence to sick her fans on him, even of wielding gang affiliations as a weapon against critics. He spoke about fear, about safety, about the possibility of pressing charges. And the more he talked, the clearer his strategy became. Whether he admitted it or not, he was setting the stage for something bigger. A lawsuit. And yet, behind all the theatrics, there was something raw in Cardi's outburst that couldn't be ignored. A mother of two, a global star, someone who fought tooth and nail to rise out of poverty, standing on the steps of a courthouse while her personal life was dragged through the mud. Again, that pen wasn't just a reaction. It was the weight of everything she's been carrying, exploding in a single second of rage. But if Cardi thought her fiery response would end the speculation, she was wrong. Because what came next took the scandal into even murkier territory. Danat wasn't finished. What should have been a 30-second soundbite outside a courthouse transformed into a rambling video monologue, one that stretched on for minutes as he painted himself as the wrong party in a battle he, himself, ignited. He spoke of reasonable fear of doxing of Cardi's fans allegedly pulling up information about his family. He spoke of violence, of intimidation, of being targeted by one of the largest fan bases in the world. His voice trembled at times, not from humility, but from performance, as if every sentence was being rehearsed for the courtroom. To him, this wasn't just about a pen. It was about building a case. He dredged up the past, the Harper's Bazaar incident, alleged confrontations in Paris, claims of gang ties and public threats. Each story layered on top of the other until the narrative he was spinning wasn't just of a woman reacting to a cruel question, but of a star he wanted the world to believe was spiraling out of control. But the cracks were impossible to ignore. He insisted he had no intention of suing Cardi, only to return again and again to the language of lawsuits, assault, reasonable fear, public apology, consequences. He repeated California law, highlighting that even throwing paper could qualify as assault. He framed himself as an independent journalist, exercising his First Amendment rights. But beneath the legal jargon, the fear, and the self-justification, one truth hung heavy in the air. This was less about journalism and more about leverage. And that's when the real game came into focus. Cardi B has a spotless legal record when it comes to lawsuits. She fights hard. She countersues harder. Every frivolous case brought against her in the past has ended the same way, with her walking out stronger, richer, and more determined. Her lawyers are notorious for dismantling weak claims. And if Danat thought this would be an easy payday, he was stepping into a storm far bigger than the one he unleashed outside the courthouse. Still, the damage was done. The clip of Cardi's pen toss became the internet's favorite replay. Debates raged on whether she was out of line, whether Danat was gaslighting, whether a question that invasive deserved any kind of response at all. And as Cardi's silence stretched in the hours that followed, speculation only grew. Did she regret it? Or did she know exactly what she was doing? Because here's the thing about Cardi B. Every outburst, every clapback, every split-second decision has the power to ignite a movement. She isn't just another celebrity in crisis. She's a cultural force, one who can turn backlash into virality, one who can make even her enemies trend. But this time, standing trial for an entirely separate assault case. The stakes were higher than ever. Every reaction mattered. Every headline mattered. Every silence mattered. And just when it felt like the dust might settle, Danat made a move that reignited everything. Danat returned with yet another statement, this time doubling down on his narrative. He claimed he wasn't suing Cardi. He wasn't playing the victim, and yet every word betrayed the opposite. He spoke about First Amendment rights, about being assaulted, not just by her pen, but by her influence, about how her fans had the power to ruin his life with a single wave of online fury. He painted himself as a lone truth teller, punished for daring to ask the questions everyone else avoided. But to Cardi supporters, it was nothing more than theater. Because while he framed himself as the fearless journalist, what viewers saw was a man who provoked a woman at her breaking point, and then capitalized on her reaction for clicks, headlines, and leverage. It was less about accountability, more about spotlight. And the irony? In his desperate attempt to expose Cardi B, he only made her story bigger, her presence louder, her name impossible to escape. But this is where the parallel emerges between Cardi's explosion outside the courthouse and Nicki Minaj's silence in the hills of Los Angeles. Two of the most powerful women in hip-hop, navigating personal storms that play out under the harshest possible spotlight. One retreats into quiet, letting absence speak louder than words. The other erupts, letting emotion crash through cameras and headlines. Both moves come at a cost. Both reveal just how brutal the pressure can be when the world demands your pain for entertainment. For Nicki, the question lingers. Has she finally reached her limit with Kenneth Petty, or is her silence just the calm before another storm? For Cardi, the question is just as sharp. Can she keep her composure when every provocation is designed to push her over the edge? Or will her impulsive moments keep fueling the very machine she wants to escape? Hollywood thrives on these moments. The breakdowns, the silences, the outbursts that turn into viral clips. But behind every headline is a woman fighting battles the public may never fully see. Marriage unraveling behind mansion walls. A career tested in courtrooms and comment sections. A voice that can't win. Too loud when it claps back, too suspicious when it disappears. And maybe that's the real story here. Not the pen, not the police call, not the endless commentary. The truth is, Nicki Minaj and Cardi B are living reminders of how much it costs to be unbreakable in an industry built to break you. And the cracks are starting to show. But the question remains, when the cameras turn off and the noise dies down, who are they really fighting? Each other, the men beside them, or the machine that demands they bleed in public just to survive. If you want more deep dives into the unseen battles, the quiet breakdowns, and the Hollywood stories they don't want you to hear, make sure you subscribe now. Because the next story may be even darker than this one.